Hello all, and here we are again with another little video that I think you may enjoy. I thought I'd show you some of the autographs I've collected from some of the famous people I've collected. Now this is not everybody, so opening up, Ralph Fiennes, who was in The English Patient, was also M in a couple of the latest James Bond films. Met him outside of a theatre in London about 20 years ago. Yes, I wrote to Sean Connery when I was a kid. He sent me a signed picture. There you go. The James Bond. When I was a kid, Doctor Who was being rerun on a Friday night, about 6:30, and I was very, very taken with Jon Pertwee. Jon Pertwee for me is Doctor Who, and so I wrote off to the BBC with my mum's help, and a few weeks later I got this back. I've had this for a long, long time. Jon Pertwee, of course, sadly is no longer with us. Colin Firth, who was in the Kingsman films. Now, this is a guilty pleasure of mine. I was a little boy in the day, and Biggles was one of my favourite movies. And this is the guy who played Biggles, Neil Dixon. And a few years ago I managed to contact him on Facebook, and he was kind enough to send me a signed picture. Very nice guy, by the way. Christopher Plummer, of course, sadly again no longer with us. He played General Chang in Star Trek VI. He was also in Battle of Britain. Of course, everybody knows him for The Sound of Music. He didn't actually like that film, and I don't like that film either. Wrote to Clint Eastwood, sent me a signed picture. My favourite actor of all time. Andy Priaulx, World Touring Car Champion, also raced in British touring cars. Back in '92, wrote to Williams, who Nigel Mansell was driving for at the time. I'd been to the British Grand Prix that year. It's the first time I'd been to a Grand Prix, and asked for some signed pictures of Nigel, and he was kind enough to write and send me some signed pictures. That's of course from '91, with the famous race where he gave Senna a lift back to the pits. Him and Senna were my two favourite drivers. Jody Scheckter, 1979 world champion. He sent me a couple of signed pictures. So Sterling Moss. Also got a nice letter from Sir Sterling. Again, he's sadly no longer with us. Let me see if I can pull the letter out for you to read. So, wrote to Jesse the Body Ventura and Michael Ironside. I got something else very special in here. When I was a little kid. Yes, that is Ayrton Senna's autograph. I was about 3 years old when he was driving for Lotus, and that Lotus was the coolest thing I had ever seen. Very, very special to have the great man's signature. I've got another autograph of his where he was driving for McLaren. I don't have it here. It's in a frame in storage at the moment. I will get it out at some point. I've also got one from Gilles Villeneuve. Andy Rouse, full-time British touring car champion. That's the, of course, the RS 500 that he drove. Sir Patrick Stewart and Marina Sirtis. I've got another signed picture from William Shatner, actually. It's my cocaine. Of course, he was in Kingsman as well, and Get Carter, one of my favourite movies. George Chakiris, who was in West Side Story, although for me 633 Squadron was a very formative movie of my youth. It was one of the things, this is going to sound stupid, that made me want to join the Royal Air Force. I was about 6 when I first watched that movie. Here's another one from George Chakiris. Jerry Ryan, 7 of 9. Derek Warwick, 92 British World Sports Car Champion. Timothy Dalton, my favourite James Bond after Sean Connery. Comes from Belper, of course. Wrote to him a few years ago, and he was kind enough to send me a signed picture back as well. Need to organise these better. Dame Judi Dench as M. And of course, Mavis, who was in Coronation Street. Ben Kingsley, Sexy Beast. Sally Field, Smoking the Bandit, one of my favourite films as a child. And John Glenn, one of the directors of the James Bond movies. And then Paul Tracy. And James Hunt. Yes, that is actually signed by James Hunt. Some more from Derek Warwick. Paul Tracy, 2003 IndyCar champion. The late great Niki Lauda. I wrote to Mercedes when he was chairman of Mercedes and asked for his autograph, and he kindly sent me this picture back. He was always a little bit reluctant to sign photographs for fans and things. For him it was just a job, but that was just the way it was. Julian Glover, he was in all sorts of 70s and 80s shows. He plays Chris Startos in For Your Eyes Only. He was also in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Danny Sullivan and Keke Rosberg. Nicholas Meyer, the director of Star Trek 2 and Star Trek 6. Wrote to him and he signed me a picture, which was lovely of him. Some more from Danny Sullivan. Won the Indy 500. Michael Andretti. Raced in Formula 1, IndyCar, was it 91 IndyCar champion, also raced at Le Mans. Mika Hakkinen. And Gordon Johncock, winner of the 73 and 82 Indianapolis 500. And then Rick Mears. So yeah, there's just a few of my autographs. I've got a whole bunch of others tucked away. I've met Steve McFadden, who of course was Phil Mitchell in EastEnders. Lots and lots of Formula 1 drivers have got their autographs and stuff over the years. I'll see if I can dig them out and do another video at some point, but I just thought you might find that a little interesting. Alright, thanks very much. Cheers. Have a good day.